What is going on, Ravens fans? We have a major update concerning the team's first round draft pick tonight. A major update on who the Ravens are likely to select. What is going on, everyone? My name is Sam Stewart here on Ravens Digest. Excited to have y'all join us today. We've got a major update concerning the Ravens' first round draft pick tonight and a big asset that could potentially be joining the team to help out the defensive side of the ball. But first, I want to remind everyone to subscribe to the channel. We are just getting rolling here on Ravens Digest. How often do you get to say you are one of the first 50 subscribers on a YouTube channel? We've got a lot of exciting content coming out as we progress towards the season. Obviously, we're going to have everything after the draft is completed tonight, but also everything into preseason workouts, game analysis once the season rolls around, and everything that you need to know about the Baltimore Ravens. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and dive into today's story, and that is an article on SI.com from Henry Brown titled "Edge Prospect Lands with Ravens in Final Mock Draft." Now we know that the mock draft is a fan favorite nowadays. Love to come out and say, what if we're going to do this? We're going to do that. And in the last video, we talked about a couple of different scenarios that the Ravens could achieve. But let's go ahead and look at what Henry Brown has to say about Donovan Eziraku. The 6'2", 247-pound Eziraku won the ACC Defensive Player of the Year award by leading the conference in sacks, 16.5, and tackles for loss, 21. A testament to his ability to crash the pocket and put pressure on the offense, he may be a bit of a specialist for how highly he's talking about getting selected, but he solves more important need for a Baltimore squad looking to compete immediately. Now, something to consider here is how bad the Ravens' pass defense was last year. One of the lowest in the league. Now, things did improve towards the end of the year, but you might say, why do we need to be drafting a defensive lineman? Well, the thing about Eziraku is that he's going to be able to make an immediate difference in the passing game right away. His skills in the rush game are going to need to come along a little bit farther, and he's going to take some development into that first year. But if we go ahead and look at those statistics again, 16.5 sacks, that is going to free up and take a lot of pressure off those corners, a space where the Ravens really did struggle last year. Put pressure on the quarterback. You're going to be going up, to prepare against a guy like Josh Allen. Hopefully, if the Ravens can make it to the same place as last year, it's going to be very difficult. And we've seen the defensive players that the Ravens have drafted in the past. We have talked about some offensive players that possibly could be drafted, including offensive linemen, receivers. But we have to remember, this Ravens football team, so many of us grew up being fans of guys like Ed Reed. And who knows? Eziraku might be one of these next guys. Baltimore and the AFC North in general loves its defensive players. The teams are built on an identity of defense, and that is where the Ravens need to improve upon, as particularly in the passing game. So let's go ahead and talk about what are some other storylines that could happen going into tonight. So we know that possibly Eziraku could be drafted, but at 27, there's a lot of moves that could be made. One thing that we could review that we've talked about in a previous video is Mark Andrews and what the situation will happen with him. This is what a lot of people have talked about, and this is from Bleacher Report once again. Cutting Mark Andrews would be a shocking move. The 29-year-old tight end has been with the franchise since he was drafted in 2018, and he's been a pivotal part of the offense ever since. The only reason this could be a real consideration is that the Ravens are going to be tight against the cap, and moving on from Andrews creates $11 million in cap space. It's the second biggest number on the roster behind Marlon Humphrey. So obviously, Mark Andrews will be a big storyline coming into this year. And also, another key player that we've talked about that could be picked up is Gray Zobel. He's never on the ground. He's got strong hands. He's really aware in terms of seeing things and picking things up. He's just a guy who has played a lot of football, who is polished and answered some of the smaller school questions at the Senior Bowl, even though North Dakota State has been a school that's pumped out a lot of linemen. I'm a huge fan of his. Obviously, Lamar is the number one asset that needs to be built around on this team. And an offensive line that is strong is only going to increase his production from an MVP caliber level that it was at last year. So, with Zobel on the board, and if Ezraku is still on the board, who do you think the Ravens should take? Let me know in the comments below. And what do you think should happen with Mark Andrews as we proceed tonight? It's going to be a wild ride, and I guarantee you that Eric DeCosta may go back on his words that he never trades people on draft night. Now, he did move on from Marquise Brown, but he says that was before the draft. But we will have to see what happens. Is this a move that's already made? Is it something that's going to happen in the spur of the moment? Something DeCosta says that he does not do. We'll have to see tonight. Please let me know what you think the Ravens should do with that 27th overall draft pick in the comments. One final note to end on tonight. I think that it's important to recognize the human element of this. And this quote is from Patrick Mahomes. You dream of your first NFL start when you're a little kid playing football in the backyard, but until you get there, you never know what to expect. Now, we have seen draft picks like Lamar. We've seen also draft picks that are busts, but that's the exciting part about the draft. You never know if you're going to get a franchise player or someone who might not pan out. And that's the crazy thing. At the end of the day, we talk about all this scouting. We talk about all these developments. But at the end of the day, there is a person who is having their dream fulfilled. And they're going to step on NFL field for the first time, and the results could be beyond your wildest imagination. After all, Mitchell Trubisky was picked above Lamar Jackson, and look where we are now. So who knows? Maybe Ezraku will be that guy for the Ravens. Maybe he will be someone who will be a cornerstone of this team going forward. Who knows? He may even be the next Ray Lewis. But we will just have to see. Everyone, happy draft day. Have a lot of fun. Hopefully you're at a nice draft day party with some friends, hanging out, enjoying the Ravens first round pick. Until next time, everyone, this is Ravens Digest. My name is Sam Stewart. We'll see you next time.